What's up, everybody? Welcome to Far Out with Faust. Today I'm doing a little something different for you guys. I'm going to do a quick solo broadcast, but I thank you for beaming in. I definitely have something I want to talk about. So I recently got back from a plant ceremony, from an ayahuasca journey, weekend, whatever you want to call it. And it's not my first experience, but it was certainly my most profound. It was, my God, it was incredible. Where to begin? So, the if you've never done ayahuasca, it's a shamanic brew. It's ancient. The technology is there's just nothing like it. There's nothing we can build that will ever come close to it. It is a cellular fusion that dates back thousands of years. That was a tradition that's handed down shaman to shaman and people to people through indigenous tribes from Peru all the way up to Costa Rica, Colombia. There's many tribes that have their own culture and traditions of this medicine. And so I've had some remarkable experiences before, and of course I've had some nights where it's not quite as razzle dazzle. It's much more interior. And in fact, my first night was very much like that. There wasn't a lot of it was very, I could feel the medicine working on my body, and we I don't know if you've ever heard about ayahuasca. There's a lot of purging that happens, in one way or another, and so your body is getting well. It's the medicine. That's the way the medicine works in your body. So sometimes, often, people will throw up. They may also have to run to the bathroom. They may sweat. They may cry. Sometimes you find yourself in tears, and you didn't even realize that tears were coming down before the emotion ever hits you. And it can be a very emotional journey. And in fact, my first night was very emotional, but it was very it was dark. It was not, I didn't have this visual landscape, right? Now my second night, I've had a kind of a history of having a second night that was not quite as exciting as the first. But if you know anything about plant ceremonies, if you know anything about ayahuasca specifically, then you know that you have to let go of any and all expectations. You have to stay perfectly present with the medicine, with grandmother, because God, the shaman put it in a wonderful way. They said it's like a date. You knock on the door. If she comes to the door and answers, and you're like, what's going to happen? She's going to shut the door on you. But if you're present, you can begin a communion, an exchange. And every night, every journey is different. And I think anyone who's had any experience with ayahuasca will tell you that is absolutely true. It's one guarantee that this journey, this night, is not going to be like the last time. It may have similarities, but it's not going to be the same. And so with that in mind, I was like, look, just let go of the expectations. And I've had some remarkable experiences in the past, and some remarkable visual encounters, but nothing could have prepared me for what I ended up experiencing that night. It was so profound. It was really far out. I mean, like, it was as far out as I ever have gone, and I don't. And it got to the point where I was like, you know, it was. I mean, let me just tell you what I was experiencing. There was so much pleasure. There was so much joy. There was such a victorious feeling running through my body that I was literally shaking with my feet and toes straight up in the air, and my jaw was like, because there was just so much energy running through me, and it was hard to contain, and it was hard to believe that I could be witnessing, and like, it was like I had a front row seat to a symphony, an orchestra that like I got in on a jam session that God was having, right, with all the choirs and angels of heaven, and and I had a front row seat. This is what I was experiencing. And so the music that takes place, because there's music in every ceremony, was so heavenly. It was so profound. It was so moving. I'm not sure I can do it justice in trying to describe to you what it was doing to me and what I was feeling. But I just kept being in disbelief, in shock and awe of this symphony that was happening in front of me, and this symphony was accompanied by this phenomenal, like, cosmic landscape of geometry, beautiful geometry, every color imaginable times 10,000, just coming out and into everything, and I could see myself in it, and I could see myself celebrating in it, and yet I felt farther and farther away from my body, from my physical being. But I also thought, this is why you came. You know, how deep can you go? And then I had this sense that all I could do is trust in why I'm here, and and how far I can go, because I started to get this little voice in the back of my head say, "You're really hammering down on the accelerator, man. You know, like, you're really letting it fly." But then I would touch in with this feeling of love and this open-heartedness, and kind of just blast that trepidation away. But then it would come back, and, like, you know, that little voice in your head that tells you, like, this is too great. Somehow there's going to be a repercussion. We all have that kind of conditioning, right? And I found myself experiencing that. And it was odd because, you know, in the face of this, I mean, immense, immeasurable pleasure, I mean, this ecstatic, profound feeling, like I felt like I was witnessing creation. Like this is how universes are created. You know, like there's this collection of amazing symphonies that come together, and out of it matter is produced, and the Big Bang, and all these colors, and this geometry that is this basic solids and shapes of all matter and life, and I literally had like my hand in the air, and I was just like, yes, you know, yes, oh my God, yes, you know, I felt so lucky. I felt so fortunate to be where I was. I don't even know how I got there. I just tried to stay present, and it was tough. It was dark at first, and I felt, I could feel the medicine working, and I felt, I knew that it was trying to work, and that it was running into blockages, and so I did end up getting well. I did end up purging. I had to run to the bathroom, and I was there for a while. But when I got back, the next thing that I became aware of was my whole body in this ecstatic, undulating joy, and it was just remarkable. And so the ceremony began to wind down, apparently, but I had lost all track of time. I mean, many times in many traditions, when a ceremony ends, they will let you know somehow. So they'll light a candle, and the candle will stay lit. And then the shaman will go around and bless people and bless the participants. And so this was happening, and I came to the awareness that I was, back in my body, but I couldn't see. I mean, I could see the light, but it was like blinding, even though it was a candle. And I realized that I had lost my shirt, and that I was sweating through my clothes. And then I reached and found my shirt. I tried to get it back on, and I got tangled up in it. And now I'm like, oh my God, I'm a mess. I started to become more aware of what I may have looked like, and I couldn't orientate. I couldn't see anything. I could hear people, I could hear voices, I could hear people talking to me, but it felt like I could hear everything. And so I would pick out one voice that I knew was being, directed to me, and they were saying something, and but I couldn't see anything. Everything was this blinding light, and it went from the most profound, amazing experience to, oh my God, this is it for me. It got really scary really fast. And part of me was like, yeah, well, dude, you knew this, and yet you kept going and going farther and farther out. And so I had this profound, cathartic, amazing roller coaster of a journey, which, my God, I'll never forget. But I wouldn't do anything different. It was definitely scary there at the end. I felt like I was gonna die. Like I might die. And then it went from or I might just go crazy. I might just be crazy forever now. Because I couldn't get acclimated. I couldn't reorientate in my physical senses after being so far out, and it felt like such a higher and different dimension where I could see the earth, but it also felt like I felt like a turning point. It felt like I was witnessing a spectacle of power. And not that there's a battle that is going on, because there's no battle. There's no devil. There's no rival. God has no rival. That's what I believe. That's what I know in my heart. That's my truth. And so just to bear witness to this amazing creative spectacle, it was the most profound experience of my life. There's nothing that comes close to what I experienced at the height of this. And then on the other side of it, because there's always another side of it, it was pretty hairy there at the end. I don't know what I look like, but it worked out, and of course I was safe and taken care of. And like, you can't die from I don't believe you can die from the medicine. That's why they call it medicine. People who go to these ceremonies and who are not honest with them about their underlying medical conditions sometimes have a problem, but that is obviously not the norm. But I thought I would share this experience with people who are interested in the power of indigenous medicine and plant ceremony, and ayahuasca specifically, which is just this profound medicine. And so I figured it's not every day that someone travels so far to experience this and gets back with a tale. And I know a lot of people don't know about ayahuasca and the beautiful tradition that it has. And I mean, people seek the medicine to heal trauma, and that's what it does, one way or the other. And so I thought I would tell you about it, and I thank you for staying with me, and I hope you enjoyed my share. Thanks, guys.